Welcome to this comprehensive tutorial on building a 3D Tycoon game using Java. I'm excited to take you through the process of creating a game from scratch. We'll cover everything from setting up your development environment to implementing the core game mechanics. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of game development in Java, and you'll have your very own Tycoon game running. Before we dive into coding, let's make sure we have everything set up properly. First, ensure you have Java Development Kit, JDK, installed on your machine. You can download it from the official Oracle website. Also, we will use an integrated development environment, IDE, called IntelliJ IDEA for our project. Once you have JDK and IntelliJ IDEA installed, create a new project. Open IntelliJ, click on New Project, select Java, and set the project SDK to your installed JDK. Name your project 3D Tycoon Game. Next, we'll need a library that aids in creating 3D graphics in Java. A popular choice is LWJGL, Lightweight Java Game Library. Go to the LWJGL website, download the latest version, and extract the files. In IntelliJ, right-click on your project's root directory, go to Open Module Settings, select Libraries, and then click on the plus sign to add the LWJGL jar files. Navigate to the folder where you extracted LWJGL, select the necessary jar files, and add them to your project. Now that we have everything set up, let's create a basic window for our game. We'll start with the main class, which will initialize the window and run the game loop. Next, let's create our game class. This class is where we will manage our game state and handle rendering. In the game class, we will set up an OpenGL context and run a simple game loop. In the init method, we initialize OpenGL capabilities and set a clear color. In the loop method, we handle rendering and game updates. Run your program, and you should see a black window appear. This is our game. Now that we have a basic window, let's create a simple 3D object to display. We will create a cube. To do that, we need to define the vertices and the faces of the cube. Now, call the drawCube method within your game loops rendering section. This will render our cube in the center of the game window. If everything went well, you should see a simple spinning cube in your game window. To achieve this effect, we can add rotation to the cube. Let's create a rotation variable and update it every frame. In this code snippet, we push the current matrix, apply a rotation transformation, and then pop the matrix after drawing the cube, which allows for continuous rotation. Now that we have a rotating cube, our next step is to implement the core mechanics of a Tycoon game. This involves creating a business model where players can earn money and reinvest it to grow their business. Let's create a business class that will manage various businesses, including their income and expenses. We will add properties for name, income, expense, and total money earned. This business class includes methods for earning money and retrieving the total money earned. You can create an instance of this class for each business the player can manage in the game. Let's initialize a list of businesses in the game class and periodically call the earn money method from the loop to simulate the flow of income over time. In this snippet, we've initialized a list of businesses, including a farm and a factory, along with their respective incomes and expenses. Now, let's modify the loop method to update the income from our businesses and display it on the screen as well. Here, we call the earn money method on each business during every iteration of the game loop. Note that we're using system.out.println temporarily, but we'll later integrate a way to display earnings in the game window itself. Next, let's implement basic user input so that players can invest their earnings into upgrading the businesses. We'll track the upgrade levels and provide the user with options. In the handle input method, we check if the user presses the up key. Depending on user input, we'll enhance the business's income or reduce expenses, allowing players to expand their operations. Let's now create an upgrade class. This class will contain details about each upgrade and its cost. Players will select upgrades to purchase once they have enough money. The upgrade class includes the upgrade's name, cost, and how much it increases income. You can create several upgrade objects for each type of business. Next, let's update our business class to include a method for applying an upgrade to the income. Add logic to ensure that the player can only perform upgrades if they have enough cash. In the apply upgrade method, players can upgrade their businesses if they have sufficient funds. We also deduct the cost of the upgrade from their total money. Now let's integrate a simple interface to display available upgrades and the player's current earnings within the game window. We can create a text renderer to show this information. In the render text method, we disable depth testing to ensure the text is always visible on top of the game's graphics. Next, we need to call this method within our loop to display the earnings. This code snippet calls the render text method to display the total earnings at the top left corner of the game window. You may want to customize the positions further as needed. Finally, let's create a simple menu system for players to select their upgrades. The menu should display available upgrades based on the player's current earnings. We've initialized a list of upgrades in the init upgrades method. Each upgrade has a unique cost and benefit, and players can select one to apply it to their business operations. To finalize your game, you can create an exit option for players to quit the game gracefully. Implement an exit key handler in your input section. This logic allows players to exit the game by pressing the ESC key. It's always essential to give players control to exit gracefully. Congratulations! You have successfully built a functional 3D Tycoon game in Java. From creating the game window to implementing core mechanics and upgrading systems, you've covered essential aspects of game development. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and consider subscribing for more Java tutorials. Leave your comments below if you have any questions or suggestions for future tutorials. Happy coding!